Hello and welcome to another episode of The Holistic Way. My name is Todd Hart. I'm the host of the show, and I'd like to welcome Sherry Silver to the show. Welcome, Sherry.
Thank you.
Do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Sure. So I'm Sherry, and I've been practicing and teaching yoga now since 1998, I guess. That was my first sort of step into a holistic lifestyle, if you will. And in about 2006, I decided that I wanted to get a little bit more connected to how I was putting my hands on people in my classes, and started to look into Thai massage, Thai yoga massage. And so that's kind of what we're here to talk about today, specifically. So
what is Thai? Is it Thai yoga massage? So
it's kind of referred to as Thai yoga massage in its earliest form, and now it's might be more referred to as Thai body work.
Okay.
So within that arena.
So what is it? What's the history of it? What exactly is it?
Well, it's from Thailand, and it has some influences of Buddhist philosophy and a little bit of Ayurveda, but it's really a really beautiful holistic approach to the body. I mean, it really takes in not just the physical, which they really do use it there as a medicinal sort of like therapeutic way of healing the body, but it takes into account all of our emotional body, our mental body, and it's quite a deep healing.
Right. So what initially drew you, other than you said you're a yoga instructor, and as a yoga instructor you always have to like have your hands on people, and did you feel like there was something more that you could be doing while you're putting your hands on people?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to talk someone into a place, but it's another thing to that's one of the beautiful things about Thai massage. It's the Buddhist practice is really of metta. It's like a loving kindness sort of act, and the hands are healing. So anytime, and we know that through different modalities, whatever they are, Reiki. But this one is really about holding space, and I really wanted to do that with people, one-on-one, and it's amazing. It's just taught me so much about being a holistic practitioner, whatever it is that I'm doing, and learning how to just be a human being and sitting with somebody else. Does
your awareness change? Did it change after that? Like when you're touching someone after taking this, did your awareness change? Like what you're feeling and what you know you are bringing to that connection with the person?
Yes, I would say yes, definitely. It's more of an energetic sort of sense of things. You can definitely physically feel things as well.
Is there any Reiki involved? Is any of this involved?
Quite naturally.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Do they call it Reiki? Do they call it something else?
I have to credit my teacher at this point, Saul David Ray, because I've had just the gift of studying with him, and he always brought in so much of that healing quality of holding space for people and just opening, being that channel. Yeah, there's an inherent quality, I think, in all of us to do that for one another, and we just kind of disconnect. So Thai yoga massage and therapy is great for me too, because even when I'm giving a session, I feel like I'm receiving so much.
Well, my wife and I came to your event in, where was it, Narragansett? Not Narragansett, Jamestown, sorry.
The Island Heron.
Over the holiday, and it was amazing. But it was really tiring though too.
If you're giving.
If you're giving it. So I think there's a lot of learning how to position your body, and because I'm a tall guy, my wife is smaller, so it's, I'm like bent over, and is there a lot of...
She could say the reverse, that you're really long.
Yeah, right, exactly, exactly. So is that part of the training, that you have to learn how to hold your body?
Absolutely. Putting yourself in a position and working from your core. It's very strengthening. And if done correctly, I feel like I just got a Thai massage. I think I said that to you guys.
You did, yeah.
And I do.
Wow, that's pretty cool, because I was exhausted giving it.
Well, if you're just using the physical reality, then yes.
Yeah.
When you learn.
So there's getting into a deeper place.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So what's the history of Thai massage? I mean, obviously Thailand, you mentioned that, but do you know when it started, why it started?
Probably about 2,500 years ago. I think it's been around for that long. Why it started, I'm not really sure, but I can tell you that it's based in meridian therapy. So similar to acupuncture, working the meridians, we're working the channels in the body. Same way. We're working they call them the sen lines, meridians. In yoga, we call them the nadi lines. And different marma points, so different points in the body. So we use acupressure, some simple stretching, to just kind of access those areas and start to move the blood, the lymph, any tension in the body physically.
Is there a process that you follow that you want to go from like A to Z when you're doing it, or does it depend on the person and the feedback you're getting from them that you might change it up?
Well, anybody can really receive a Thai massage. They can come with anything, and we can work around that. But generally, you start at the feet, and you work your way up to the crown of the head.
Okay. Is there a thought process behind that, why you do that?
There is some sequencing involved. A thought process, it's really just feeling and sensing.
Okay.
It's really nice because you get out of your thinking mind.
Right.
You know, it's really developing a different sense of awareness.
Right.
And the person receiving really feels that. It's a very deep sort of experience for the person that's getting the Thai massage.
And what about, how do you get trained in something like this? What's involved with the training?
It's changing so much. I mean, you can go to Thailand, which many do.
Right.
My teacher studied for many years in Asia and brought it back. And so you can travel. I went to California, studied with him, started in 2006. So that's a residential training, which was 10 days intensive to begin with. And then there's another 5-day training. You can continue. And then you have to go out and just work on bodies. You know, that's really part of it, is to take 60 or more people and just give them Thai massage.
And then is that like level 1, and then once you do that, you go to another level?
Yeah, and you would find that different schools of Thai would create a slightly different format. I mean, it's kind of like the whole holistic arena these days. Everyone's kind of creating their own sort of program.
Right.
Hands-on healing is still legal and totally okay. So Thai massage, like, just go for it. You know, like just but take your time and really find a good teacher and learn and practice.
Now, do you have to be licensed, or does it not fall under the traditional?
It's starting to come into more of a licensed sort of way, because I think our culture is really attached to that, but it's never been needed.
Okay.
That's why I said hands-on healing.
Yeah.
It's never needed. You never needed a certification for that.
Right, right.
You know, so.
No, in the United States, because I didn't hear about it until you told me about it, and I've known about it maybe for a year or two since we spoke about it. How widespread is it in America? Is it something that's growing? Is it something that's always been here and I just didn't have awareness of it?
It's growing.
It's
definitely growing. I mean, out west, if you go to California, where I spent a lot of time studying, it's more common there. People do it more as a real way of, they integrate it into their routine of healing. Where here, in the East Coast, it's still sort of like, well, let me just get that for my husband for a Valentine's present, which you can do, by the way.
Right.
But it's not, the approach is a little different, so it's still making its waves into, I don't want to call it mainstream, maybe mainstream yoga, like studios and such, and I think that people are starting to get a little bit more interested and become more aware. So I'm so thrilled to be here today and be able to bring it to everyone.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what do you, I'm going to ask you a question, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but what do you like doing better, teaching a yoga class or doing Thai massage on someone?
They're so different because it's like the many versus the one.
Right.
And when I'm working on somebody, I don't have to talk.
Oh, nice.
It's the language is very different. And the Thai massage is very rhythmic, so it's kind of a very tranquil, dynamic at the same time way of being in the body and with somebody. And the yoga class it comes from a different point of being inspired and looking and sharing. Right. I love it all. I really do. Right. I do.
Well, the Thai massage seems more focused because it's one person and you're getting that immediate feedback, where in a class setting with yoga, there could be 20 people that have different needs and levels of skill that you have to accommodate, right? I'm sure that gets a little difficult.
Absolutely. And what I can say is that people that practice yoga, that come for Thai massage, always say, wow, that just deepened my yoga practice so much. I'm like, oh, my awareness. So they go back into their yoga classes with a totally different sense of being and awareness. So you're opening them up
even more.
Sure,
Oh, that's pretty cool. So who is an ideal, you're saying yoga people, but is it just yoga people that would come to you, or really anyone would come to you?
Anyone.
Who's an ideal client?
Anyone that is willing to receive. You know, it's one of those things, and that's a big practice for everyone because we are such a high maintenance type A culture of doing. So in order to just receive something like that, it's very different than a regular massage. So you're in yoga clothing and it's on a mat and kind of little bit of manipulation of moving you around and such, but it's about receiving. And you know, whatever gets you there. Sometimes it's an injury that forces you on the mat. Sometimes it's just a state of total distress or stress. And sometimes it's just curiosity.
Right.
So it's, you know, everyone kind of comes to it.
Right.
Ideally, you know, I don't know.
Should people be afraid of it? Is it painful? Is it like, you know, really getting in there and
there are
working the
varying
muscles?
degrees of working
Okay.
with people's bodies and how much they need.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're also getting the
So-
feedback from their body of
Yes.
it's too much, or maybe they could do a little bit more than what they think they can
Right.
handle. But each person, I assume, is different that you work with.
You know, if I have an overly flexible person, they don't need the stretching as much as they might need more acupressure.
Right.
So it's a little different, you know. Working
Any
with
age
bodies.
limitations with people you can work for? Kids, elderly?
Well, that's an attention issue with kids. You know, typically the sessions will run an hour and a half, but I've given 3-hour massages before.
Wow.
So with a child, you might get them for 20 minutes. That might be all they need.
Right.
I work on pregnant women. Working on elderly, of course, you don't want to put too much pressure on the bones. But I've worked with people that are very sick to very healthy.
Right.
So
really anyone.
some people just want the experience.
Yeah.
We've heard of it. That sounds really interesting.
It's actually very exciting. Yeah, it's really cool.
The hour and a half intimidates people. Like how I can't go for an hour and a half. I don't have the time or whatever.
Right.
But it goes so quickly, and
Sure.
people are like, wow. You know, when can I come back?
So we're going to actually do a demonstration here.
Great.
You're going to demo on me, so stay tuned. Don't go leave. We'll be back, and Sherry and I will do a demonstration. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to The Holistic Way. My name is Todd Hart. I'm the host of the show. I'm joined by Sherry Silva. And Sherry's going to take us through a condensed Thai massage. Normally this is, about an hour and a half?
Yes.
And so we're going to do it in 15 minutes, so she's going to condense it down. So I'm going to hand it over to Sherry, who's going to walk us through what you would normally experience and what she would be doing as you're getting a Thai massage.
Okay, so this is a very small, I like to call it an appetizer for the meal when we're coming into this sort of work that we're doing. So some of the things that we're going to go through just in this show are a very small sample of the work of performing Thai massage or giving a Thai massage. So we're doing a little bit of acupressure on Todd's feet, just to kind of open the door. So the feet are the door, is considered to be the doorway into the body. Yeah, so just very relaxing, hopefully. You might come across a little bit of tension. That's expected.
And I notice I get cramps when I lay down in this position in my feet.
Yeah, well, we're usually in more of a flexed foot position. So this is already very anatomically different for our bodies. It's a high expectation to get the foot flat, top of the foot flat on the floor. I'm going to come down and just take Todd's feet. Just give him a little bit of a hero stretch. Just working more into the quads and hip flexors.
And I know I wasn't supposed to wear jeans today, so I apologize for that.
That's okay. It's Todd's show, so he can wear jeans. I'm taking a deep breath. Good. And so we're kind of going with a little bit more of joint mobilization, so getting into the hips. And everyone's going to have a varying degree of flexibility. Just very rhythmically, taking another deep breath. I might hold him here for a moment. Good. Coming back. And just noticing if he's staying with his breath. I'm going to just start to work up the legs. So now palming the backs of the legs. Just noticing where the joints are, giving them a little massage. So the art of Thai massage begins with the hands. And then over time, as you learn more, you can start to learn to use the feet, the elbows. We're going to come up into his back lines. So this is actually the bladder meridian. So as I was mentioning before, just working the meridians. So my posture has to be good in order to deliver some good pressure and just a nice, even feeling for Todd to receive. How's that feeling, Todd?
Good. Do people usually fall asleep when they're getting this?
People will drift off at different times. I would say it's more of a meditative. You probably get into some deeper states of relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remind Todd to take another deep breath in. And I'm going to have him just kind of turn onto his left side. So again, we're doing this sort of quick style Thai massage. Bend this knee for me. Great. Good.
This leg straight?
Yeah, this leg is straight. So just in a side lying position. You comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to come up. Excuse me, just let this arm relax. We're going to come into the shoulder. Good. So this is actually a great position for working on pregnant women. Since they can't receive on their bellies or on their backs, mostly. Side lying's great. And we can start to work up into the neck. And we'll get deeper into the shoulder, bringing the arm overhead. So it's sort of like an unfolding process for the body to receive. Good. Nice long stretch for Todd along his right side. Good. And just squeezing, I'm just kind of squeezing along the channels of his arms. Good. And then we're going to come up. I'm going to have Todd hold my wrist. So there are little cues, little things that the receiver has to do. And I'm just going to gently traction his shoulder. Good. And just let your head go a little bit more, Todd. Good. And don't let go. So that's, hold on a little bit more. Good, that's it. So, you can see that I'm a little bit smaller than Todd.
I was just going to ask about that.
But, using your body weight, leveraging. I'm leaning back a little. Good. Awesome. And then I'm going to have this arm release, and I'm going to ask for your other arm now. Bring it on over. Switch. Hold this wrist. Good. And then just start to open. This could be a twist, but with Todd, we're going to take it nice and easy. Take your right arm out, please.
Where am I going with this?
Just into a twist. Take that right arm out. Good, perfect. Good. That's it. And release. Good. Spinal twist. Maybe Todd wants to close his eyes. Take a nice deep breath. Awesome. And then I'm going to have him come right onto his back. Keep rolling him around. That's it. Adjust your mic. And just coming back to the feet. So again, in 15 minutes, we're kind of doing a very quick tour around the body. And palming the insides of the feet now. Good.
There are a lot of cracks in that.
Yes, that's okay. So usually that kind of a crack in the system isn't a bad thing, right? So the chiropractors would say, but of course it has to be gentle. I'm very much aware of where Todd's resistance is in his flexibility or mobility. I'm just meeting it very gently. Now, okay. So just to show the depth of the work, just going into a little bit of footwork. We're gonna go up Todd's legs. How's that pressure, Todd?
Good. Feels great.
Okay. Not painful, right?
No, not at all.
It's almost like a good pressure, right? It feels, you tell me.
Yeah, I like it.
Good.
Woo!
That's a little more intense as we come up. So working the kidney, the spleen, the liver channel. So because he's feeling that a little bit more, I just do a little less. This is actually quite deep to be using the foot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we come back down. And some of the Thai practices, the leg line work is very, very, very much a focus. You can imagine the importance of really working on the leg lines when you see that half of your body size is usually your legs.
That leg's not as sensitive.
Interesting, right?
Oop.
Oh,
That
spoke a
was.
little too soon. So we're just, again, this is going into those blockages. And usually people, after doing a lot of line work like this on people, they feel incredibly grounded and open. So this allows a lot of the energy to flow in the body. So the other thing we could do is come up, and I could do the same thing.
Sit up.
Nope, I'm just gonna come up towards you, towards your upper body, and then working into the shoulder. So this is more working some more marma points, specific points. And we can come down the channel of the arms, heart and lung channels. So again, it's a process. This is just a little bit of a demo again on what's possible. I'm not doing too much weight on his hands right now. Good. And just letting that arm relax, good. Okay. We're gonna come down to the feet, do a little bit of what might be more expected by Thai massage. I'm gonna have Todd bend his knees. And can you take your knees out to the side, please? Yeah, we're gonna cross your ankles.
I remember this.
All right, and can you reach up and hold my wrist, please? Great, okay. You really have my wrists? Yes, okay. So I'm gonna gently lift Todd.
Whoa.
Good. And I'm gonna slowly bring him up to seated. And I'm gonna have him just fold forward any level, and you can release my hands. Good. So a little bit more of the dynamic work now is just chopping the back lines. So just working along the spine. Now if somebody cannot sit like this, and I'm giving them a session, then their legs can be in a different variation. One more. Awesome. Just working out. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to slowly have Todd come up. I think you can stay facing this way. Just, just feeling, so I'm supporting him with my leg. And he's not leaning too much back. And then I'm palming into tops of his shoulders. up by his neck. And then, with a lot of love, I'll take my thumbs in. It's a little more intense to bring the thumbs into this area.
I should like that.
What's that?
I like this one.
Mm-hmm. This is a great one. Big stress point.
Mm-hmm.
We could actually just stay here for about 5 minutes if we wanted to, or longer. That's why the Thai massage can be so extended, because working these areas requires some time. And then we can just give him a little squeeze. And then we have about a minute left. 15 minutes goes fast when you're on the Thai mat. An hour and a half goes fast when you're on a Thai mat. So I'm going to bring Todd back in.
Nope, wrong camera. Thank you for that. That was awesome.
My pleasure.
I feel great. I'm going to have to come for a longer session. So this has been The Holistic Way. If you want to reach out to myself or Sherry, you can send an email to theholisticway@hotmail.com. Again, that's theholisticway@hotmail.com. It should be on the screen. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Until we meet again, stay healthy and join us back for our next show. Take care.